Hey, who's here just to take a break? Anyone? All you guys? So you're going to hear from me for the next, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. We don't know. We'll see how this goes. But what I'm going to be talking today about is friction, and friction in the transportation business, and then what specifically WEX is doing to help with that. WEX has been in the industry. How many are familiar with WEX? Show of hands. Yeah, all the WEX employees. I'm glad they know. Anybody else? So WEX has been in the industry for about 40 years. WEX is known by several different brands in the industry. So, I mean, this is going way back. Brands like TCH, brands like EFS, brands like T-Check. That's all come together under WEX over the last 40 years. And the goal being that we are creating products and services to help you run your trucking company. So with that, friction. So WEX did research just last year. We did a whole bunch of surveying of our customers to identify issues that they're having with their business. Friction can come in a lot of different forms. Whether you're a large fleet or you're a small fleet, you're trying to address the same issues as it relates to how to make the right choices on where to buy fuel. The right choices on where to purchase your tires, making sure you're picking the right loads, making sure you're taking the right routes to get from point A to point B. All of those things create friction in the operation if you're not making the right decisions. So what we uncovered in this is that there was a $2 million plus in opportunity as it relates to improving on inefficient processes that fleets employ today in their business. So again, while large fleets typically have the resources to address some of these issues, small fleets still have to go through the same issues and deal with the same issues without potentially having all the same resources to deal with them. So the cool thing is there's a lot of new technology that's coming out. Several of those things are here at the show. So, that will help small fleets and are focused on helping small fleets better operate their business. And honestly, our goal is to put products and services out there that help you simplify the business of running your business. So I'm going to cover 3 areas in today's presentation. And certainly if you have questions as I'm going through this, I'm not opposed to questions. So if you want to ask questions, you're welcome to do that. But the 3 areas are going to be cash flow, technology, and then fraud protection. Why are these things important? Based on those results that the survey yielded, I mean, these seem to be the kind of the running themes as it related to those results. Where can we improve on cash flow? Where can we utilize technology to automate or optimize certain things that we're doing today? And then obviously, how can I protect my company from fraud? So the first one we're going to talk about is cash flow. So improving cash flow. In the fleet space, there's several ways you can do this. I think the easiest and the one that makes the most sense is where are you buying fuel? Where are you buying services and products that you need to run your business? And are you buying them at a discounted rate? Are you taking advantage of any discount programs that are out there in the space that would allow you to save money on fuel, allow you to save money on tires, hotels, cell phone plans, telematics services, and so forth? From a WEX standpoint, we've got what we refer to as our Edge discount network. So if any of you use the Fleet One Edge card today, you're participating in this discount network. And what that is that's a network of fuel merchants nationwide that have offered discounts to our Fleet One Edge card holders. And so when you're buying fuel, if you can save 2 cents, if you can save 5 cents, or even 10 cents, 50 cents a gallon, all of that adds up at the end of the day and makes you more profitable. The other thing we do is we have our WEX Capital service. So WEX Capital is a receivables financing, or what we refer to as factoring business. Anybody factor their freight today? Show of hands. Right? Now, factoring has always been, historically, it's kind of been looked at as like, hey, if you're running you don't need factoring, right? Factoring has kind of always been looked at with a negative connotation. But at the end of the day, if factoring allows you to cash flow your business and it allows you to continue to move freight and take additional loads because you can pay for the fuel that is needed along that way, why Walmart is waiting 60, 90, 120 days to pay you, or whoever you're moving freight for, then factoring makes a lot of sense because it allows you to be active while you're waiting for that cash to come in. Questions on cash flow? Anybody have a comment? Okay, we'll move on to the next. Leveraging technology. So technology comes in many forms, and if you go to your Google store or your Apple store and you search for trucking technology, you're going to find a million apps that could be beneficial to you. The idea is, though, what are we doing with the technology? Just the fact that you're using the apps and you're trying to pull that, and you're trying to make better decisions. Reality is do you have the data to support and the information you need to support that you're making the right decisions? So with technology, if used right, can optimize your business from the start. So using technology like WEX, we have a fuel management product. So what fuel management does is it's basically looking at all of your fuel activity and where you elect to buy fuel, and it's looking at behaviors in that activity and looking for slight changes in that behavior that may allow you to save more money. Hey, you purchased here, you saved 10 cents, but if you would have just waited and purchased 15 miles down the road or 15 minutes down the road, you could have saved an additional 5 cents per gallon. Again, the savings adds up, but if you're not analyzing where you're buying fuel and when you're buying fuel and the price you're paying for fuel, then you're probably not always buying at the right price. So using technology to help drive those decisions and help you make the right decision when it's time to buy fuel is important. Another thing that technology is used for is fuel tax reporting. Fuel tax reporting is one of those things. We're about to head into April, and everybody's first quarter reporting is going to be due. And fuel tax reporting can be an absolute pain in the butt, but it could also be something that's already done as we roll into April 1st and April 2nd. And what I mean by that is there's technology out there. We've got a fuel tax program at WEX that it automates all of the data capture. It integrates into your ELD. It's pulling all of that data in, and it's using all of that data to account for your mileage and where you're driving. And then if you're using any of our fuel products, it's going to pull all of that data in automatically. So there isn't this big rush at the end of the month or the end of the quarter to try to pull this data together, because it's always being collected and it's always there. So when we talk about fuel tax reporting, it becomes this easy, I'm just going to hit a button and the reports are prepared and even e-filed with the state if I choose to do that. So fuel tax reporting is one that our customer uses a lot, that our customer base uses a lot, and I think they see a massive benefit for that. The other product that we're bringing into the industry, and we're announcing our pilot at this show, is a product we're calling 10-4 by WEX. So what is 10-4 by WEX? 10-4 is basically trying to bring the cash flow, solve the cash flow problem and the technology problem and bringing it together. So we're going to use technology to allow you to easily sign up and receive fuel discounts that we've gone out and negotiated with our merchant network. So at WEX, we have acceptance at over 15,000 different merchant locations, high-flow diesel locations across the country. We have acceptance at over 200,000 retail fleet locations over the country. So what we're doing is we're trying to go out to that market. We're trying to negotiate discounts on your behalf, and then we're going to couple those discounts and that cost savings into a technology that is easy for you to use in order to save money on fuel being your biggest expense, but also on things like tires, things like hotels, and some of the other things that I talked about earlier today. Any questions on technology? Okay, the last thing we'll talk about, and we'd be crazy not to talk about it because this is an issue that is facing the industry. As fuel prices fluctuate and as prices go up, fraud becomes a bigger issue. I mean, our experience over the last 12 to 18 months is, I mean, we've seen that there's been a lot more fraudulent attempts as it relates to fuel card and diesel fuel. Skimming devices or other ways to commit fraud. They're trying to hack your apps and your logins and your accounts and trying to gain access to your financial, your financial means. So from a fraud perspective, you know, fraud impacts everybody. It's not a small fleet problem. It's not a big fleet problem. It's an industry problem. And what we've done at WEX is we've introduced several different ways for you to help combat fraud. So I think one has to do with the modality that you're using when you purchase fuel or when you transact. The modality being, are you using a card swipe? Are you using a mobile app? Are you using a token or a start code? How are you doing that? And what is that modality exposed to as it relates to fraud? So at WEX, we support all of the above. So you want to use a card and you want to be a traditional card holder, you can use a card and a physical piece of plastic. You want a cardless transaction because you don't want to run the risk of your card getting skimmed when it is swiped, we can provide a solution for that. So it just depends on what you need. What we are at the mercy of is the merchants and the points of sale in the space and what modalities they're willing to support. So we've seen over the last, I'd say 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen the TA app, we've seen the Loves app, we've seen the Pilot app all introduce the ability to create a digital wallet and perform a transaction through those apps. I think that's the way this business is headed. And that's the way the industry is headed, is for more of an app-based transaction and experience for the customers. So in addition to just the modality and how the transaction is incurred or performed, WEX has launched back in 2014, we launched a product called Secure Fuel. Secure Fuel is a product, again, where we're utilizing technology to help protect you on your transactions. And what that Secure Fuel product does is essentially accounting for where you are when your card is being used or when a transaction is being attempted. So are you in Houston when a transaction in Houston is being attempted? And then we can use that. Now, Secure Fuel integrates into your telematics, so we're getting real-time position data of the vehicle. We're using that position data as part of our authorization process in order to decide whether we allow or disallow the transaction. That's been out there since 2014. In the last 12 to 18 months, we've seen a massive, massive amount of growth and adoption into that product as a way for both small and large fleets to protect themselves. And then more recently, this last year, we released what we're calling dynamic prompting. So everybody's used to putting prompts in at the pump, whether that's an odometer, that's a trip number, that's a driver ID, that's a unit number, all of that information you want to capture as part of the transaction process to help with the back office and how you reconcile those transactions in the back office. So what we've done is we've added a dynamic prompt to that, where it's if anybody's logged into like a Netflix account or anybody's logged into a mobile app and you get a token on your phone that says, hey, you've got to enter this in order to confirm you are who you say you are. That's kind of essentially what dynamic prompt is doing. So as you swipe that card or you enter that cardless token, you're going to be asked to put a multi-factor code in that is going to confirm that you are the person receiving the code and the person that should be using the card in order to complete the transaction. And I think with these types of services, it allows us to, again, do more stuff through the mobile app, capture more data to the mobile app, save you and your drivers time as they're performing transactions at the merchant locations. So it's all good and things that you should be using. So, any questions on fraud? That's a good question. So I'll repeat it so everybody heard it. So with cardless transactions, if you want to go completely cardless, can you do it at the pump or do you have to go in? And the answer is both, with the exception of you can do either, but it really is dependent on the point of sale. So there's some points of sales out there that they don't even have a keypad at the pump for you to enter something in. So, but what we're seeing is that more point-of-sale systems are being updated to allow those cardless tokens at the pump. So the way you know really is you're going to get to the pump and you're going to see if there's a button there or a quick key there to allow you to enter an auth code. And if you press that, that's when you would enter that cardless token that you would request from our 10.4 app or another app, right? Or in some cases, if the point of sale can't support that at the pump, you have to go in and show the token to the cashier and allow that to happen. So it's just dependent, but we're seeing a good trend of merchants starting to adopt that at the pump. Any other questions? Okay. Well, ultimately, we're here for you. We'd love for you to stop by the booth. We'd love to hear what your challenges are. We'd love to talk to you about some of the services and products that we offer that may help you in those ways. So swing by, and appreciate you coming. Thank you.